Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Survivor Season 49, Episode 3, titled Lovable Losers. Last week on Survivor, after Kelly lost their second straight immunity challenge, self-proclaimed CEO of the tribe, Annie had to step down from her post when she was unanimously voted out of the game. I put a link in the description to my playlist to catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking, subscribing, and using my link to try Paramount Plus for free. But let's dive into it. The next morning, the bromance ponders their lives as they stare at the sunrise. Alex calls Kelly the lovable losers. Oop, he said the thing. Right and early. Sophie, Jake, Alex, and Jeremiah see themselves as a core four that now will have to break up if they go to tribal. Sophie and Jeremiah know that Alex has an idol and wonder if they could find another advantage for themselves. At Happy Hina, Christina braids Jason's hair. Jason tells us they all love each other and he motivates the group to go out and look for the Beware advantage. MC and Steven get the chance to talk. Steven calls MC his closest ally. MC ultimately does find the advantage and tells Steven, learning that they'll get more instructions to find the idol after they lose immunity. At Uli, they're still vibing, cooking, and skibbity strategizing, but Sage and Jawan are still on the outs, and they know it, talking about it with each other. Sage tells us that all of her friends growing up turned on her, and being on the outs is bringing back old feelings. Rizzo encourages Sage, and Sage uses Rizzo's encouragement to build up the courage to tell Shannon that Rizzo and Savannah are close and a threat, with Savannah being Sage's main target. Shannon tells us that Sage is her low-key soul sister, but Shannon runs this whole conversation back to Savannah, so Savannah's agitated, and Sage, you in danger, girl. At Kaylee, Jake is still pondering life and staring into the horizon, thinking about winning the money and providing for his newborn son. As Jeremiah and Alex gag on a coconut, Jeremiah's out here eating anything. Then, Jake gets bit by a snake. It's a whole thing. Alex goes back to camp and gets the manual, which we never see, showing us that Jake got bit by a poisonous snake. Egads! Alex thinks Jake is about to die, which now needs to be added to moments when Survivor sent us to commercial, not sure if a player was going to live. They take Jake to base camp, where the medics are happy that Jake's even breathing, and go to the hospital with the cameras and Jeff. The medics explain to Jeff that they don't think any venom got into Jake, and they patch him up and help him calm his anxiety, which appears to be through the roof, and rightfully so. Back at camp, players wait for Jake. Sophie gets emotional thinking about Jake and his family. Silver Fox Doctor tells Jake, but he still doesn't feel comfortable sending Jake back into the game, so Jake is medically deemed unfit to continue, and we lose Jake, who came into the season someone who everyone on the cast pointed out as a physical threat, and he was the greatest challenge threat on this cast. We learned in the premiere about his dad losing vision and his wife being very pregnant. He quickly gets into a strong place on his tribe, at the center of all the alliances with his bromance, his duo with Sophie, the core four. He was playing really well. There was the shoe bandit storyline that never really went anywhere, but was some silliness. Then, of course, the snake bite incident happens and pulls him from the game. I question the reasoning of Silver Fox Doctor, saying that Jake was fine, but he doesn't feel comfortable sending him back because he has a baby on the way. Like, if that was the case, why even let Jake go on the show to begin with? And they should have given Jake the choice. He would have chosen to go back, and with his life story and the snakebite story, he would have been such a jury threat. We're of course going to see him again on the show. They'll make a second chance season just to get him back. At least he gets some fresh oxygen and a handshake from Jeff. At the immunity challenge, Jeff tells everyone what happened with the snake and that it's 10 times more dangerous than a rattlesnake bite, and that Jake is okay but not returning to the game. Even the other tribes are upset, and the lovable losers dedicate this challenge to Jake. In their challenge, one player from each tribe needs to swim out, climb up and jump off a platform, cross a balance beam to get a key to unlock their puzzle pieces. Then the other two members will race out to join them and complete a puzzle. The first two teams to complete this will win immunity. Tribes are also playing for reward, with first place getting a big tarp and second place getting a teeny tarp. Shannon, Jawan, Rizzo, Sophie, Matt, and MC sit out. They get started with a crazy looking slow-mo jump from Alex, who takes the lead. Savannah messes up on the balance beam, setting Uli back when Savannah gets to the puzzle last, but the other Ulis crush this, leading to all three tribes working on the puzzle at the same time. Jason is again leading Hina in the puzzle, and Kelly once again is struggling, as Sophie watches the boys mess up in misery. Hina comes in first, followed by Uli, which means another sad loss for Kelly. Everyone is miserable, even the winners don't celebrate out of respect, but Rizzo does through a great flip. Jake is healthy, and the silver lining is he made it home for the birth of his son. Back at camp, Alex just lost his bromance, and he's considering using his idol at this point. Sophie and Jeremiah are down to make an attempt at voting Alex out. They plan to tell Alex that they're voting for each other, then look for the idol the next day. Back on Uli, they agree that they're going to war against Hina, so they rally together to find the advantages. Rizzo finds the Beware advantage and tells the group, learning that they'll get further instructions later. Sophie and Jeremiah get to work on Alex, with Jeremiah saying he knows how to trick a Libra. Sophie spies on the boys talking, hearing Alex talk about voting her out freaks her out, but what else would Alex and Jeremiah be talking about in this moment? At Tribal, Jeff tells the Kellys that they seem rudderless. Alex tells Jeff about his idol, saying that both players were interviewing for a job as Alex's assistant in the game. Sophie's points are that she's loyal to everyone in her life, even her nail technician. Jeremiah tries to argue that that he and Alex are like kindred spirits, while twice accidentally calling Alex Jake. Will Alex play his idol? None of them are sure. Jeff reminds them of the metaphor they've been talking about at the last few tribals, comparing their tribe to the shipwreck at Tribal. At this point, he's offering them tickets on his lifeboat. They get to voting, and Alex does play his idol for himself. Jeff reads the votes. There's one vote in that thing for Alex that doesn't count, and two for Jeremiah from Alex and Sophie. So we lose Jeremiah here, who had one of the bigger personalities on this cast. His eating worms was pretty amusing, and I like his laugh, but when he was laughing at Annie, it was maniacal. Starting the game, I think he should have tried harder to bond with Nicole and organize his cards more. He seemed pretty content putting himself on the bottom of the majority alliance, and ultimately put himself in the place to be voted out in this episode, even if the snake incident never happened. Jake leaving just put him a wee bit forward on Wikipedia, but I'm not surprised about this boot at all. At the end of the episode, we found out that next week's a tribe swap, which is much needed. We've barely got to see 2/3 of this cast play the game. This season's about to really heat up. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode, the snake incident, and Jake and Jeremiah's departures. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more Survivor. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye.